This is how I'd use my credit card points to book a flight to Dublin, Ireland from Cincinnati, Ohio. By the way, I'm Kylie and I teach you how to earn and redeem your credit card points for max value so you can actually travel like you want. This is a full step-by-step tutorial that I'm doing live. Make sure you're following along if you want to learn how to do this yourself. The first step of any search is going to flightconnections.com and putting in our route so we can see all the ways that we can actually make this flight happen. On the left-hand side here, it shows us all the different routes sorted by the shortest travel time, and it tells you what airlines operate the route. So when you're looking at this, what you want to look for is you want to look for 2 airlines that are the same or in the same alliance. So for example, if this was Delta and JetBlue, you would not be able to book that on one reservation. But since you have Delta and Delta, we could book this together. Another example, Cincinnati to Philly, American Airlines, and then we have American and Aer Lingus. And I know that American Airlines and Aer Lingus are in the same partnership, so this could also work. It looks like Newark is another good option. So we basically have an option in all 3 of the different airline alliances. We have the United Newark, we have American Airlines / British Airways / Aer Lingus in one alliance, and then we have Delta and the SkyTeam Alliance. So we're gonna check all of those multiple routes. Let's start out with the Delta option. So using Chase points cannot be transferred to Delta. So if we were to fly Delta, we're gonna have to go through one of their partners, which would be like Air France or Virgin Atlantic are the main ones. Our first stop is going to be on the Air France website, book with miles. I have Cincinnati to Dublin, and then we actually wanna leave the date blank. Other thing you wanna do is you actually wanna set your country to the Netherlands. I learned this from Max Miles Points. This is a really good tip. Change that to the Netherlands in English. Now we're going to go ahead and search for this. So now we can see by month, and this person said May, so we click on the month of May, and we can see all the dates that are available and what the prices are. So it looks like this May 30th is the cheapest price. Now we can see this flight is operated by Delta, going from Cincinnati with a layover in LaGuardia, and then on to Dublin from there. Okay, but clicking on this, you guys, this is clearly live. I would not do this because this arrives in LaGuardia and leaves from JFK. That's kind of a nightmare. I would not do that. So let's click on the other date that was around 27,000 miles, May 19th, and let's see what these look like. So this one goes through Boston and departs from Boston. So this would be a much better option. And the other option goes through Detroit. The taxes and fees are only $28. Our other option is booking Delta through Virgin Atlantic. And Virgin Atlantic is charging around 38,000 points and $6 in taxes and fees, also flying Delta. Now to find the dates on Virgin Atlantic, you actually need to use a tool like Seats.aero or Points.yeah because they don't have a nice calendar view. Now moving on, if we want to try to fly on American Airlines or British Airways or Aer Lingus, we are going to be looking at the One World Alliance. Now Chase points in particular can be transferred to British Airways and Aer Lingus, but not American Airlines. So the only way to book American Airlines flights would be through one of these partners that I just mentioned. We don't even need to go to the American Airlines website because whatever we find on there, we can't book on that website. So we're gonna go straight to the British Airways website and search that way. Once you log in, you can just type in your search and your date, and they do give you a pretty good view of dates available. So let's see if we scroll down, we see there is an option through London, but you want to avoid flying through London because they charge extremely high taxes and fees. Instead, you want to look for something that goes through one of the US cities. So we have through JFK here on American and to Dublin on Aer Lingus. And we can see they're charging 29,000 points plus $217. The way you would book it is by transferring your points to British Airways and booking on their website. The last option we talked about was United, which is in the Star Alliance, the third and final alliance. So for this one, we can transfer Chase points directly to United. We can go search directly on the United website, and they do provide a pretty nice calendar giving you a view of the cheapest dates. Now we'll see the cheapest date here has a 11-hour layover, not ideal, so you could click around to see which dates work the best. Now when you're searching on the United website and you see something like this that says United Economy X Saver Award, that basically means it's the cheapest price that United has for their flight, and it's a good indication this flight is probably available on one of their partners, sometimes for a cheaper price. So whenever I see this, I always want to go check the price on Air Canada to see if it's any cheaper. Over on the Air Canada website, again, because Air Canada and United are in the same alliance, we can see they do have some other flights operated by Air Canada for around 35,000 miles, and there's a much shorter layover. But if we scroll down, we do see that same United flight I was referencing, but the price is actually more expensive. Sometimes it's cheaper, sometimes it's not. It's always worthwhile to check. These were all of the options that we found, but whenever you're doing a search, you always want to make sure you check to see if there are any transfer bonuses going on, which right now there is one from Chase to Air Canada, which would actually make these two options even cheaper. Now, the last thing you need to do is find your return flight on your own, but now you have the tools to do it yourself. And remember, you can easily mix and match airlines. You do not have to book a round trip flight. If you found this helpful, make sure you're following along and check out my award search tutorial playlist for more step-by-step guides just like this one, and let me know which one you want to see next in the comments.